Alright, so Karina baby, today is the 27th, and I'm going to be reading you books today for the 27th. Look at that. So it is the No Such Ghost. The No Such Ghost. There was once a little ghost who lived in an old house. An artist called Holly lived there too. Every day Holly painted pictures in her studio near the attic. It was a bit creepy up there, but when visitors asked, "Do you have a ghost in this house?" Holly would say, "There's no such thing." The little ghost had heard this so often he thought No Such Thing was his name. Oh, No Such Thing. He thought that was his name, baby. No Such Thing loved to watch Holly at work, painting pictures for books, because no such thing was invisible. Holly never knew the little ghost was there, even when he looked over her shoulder. One morning, while No Such Thing was floating around the studio, Holly looked puzzled. She had been asked to draw the pictures for a ghost story. "I've never seen a ghost before," thought Holly. "I wonder what they look like." Of course, No Such Thing knew what Holly was thinking and wanted to help. He flew to her easel and did cartwheels over her paper. Holly shivered. She felt a cold draft as the little ghost did his best to show himself, but she couldn't see him. Then No Such Thing did something quite extraordinary. He took a pencil and drew a picture of himself. After all, only a ghost knows what he looks like. Holly couldn't believe her eyes. The pencil was drawing all by itself. Before long, there was a perfect picture of a ghost. Smiling up at her underneath, the little ghost had written, "The picture of me, with love, from No Such Thing." Oh! From that day, whenever anyone asked Holly if she had a ghost in the house, she would smile over her shoulder and say, "There's no such thing." And she meant it. That was so cute. So the little ghost is hearing this little girl going, "Is there a ghost in your house?" And she goes, "Yeah, there's no such thing in my house. There's no such thing, there's no such thing, there's no such thing." So this little ghost, look at him. See him up there? Whoop, right there. That's No Such Thing. Look it. "With love, from No Such Thing." Oh, that's so cute. I'm not putting this on the floor. That's why I got this little table here. Oh. All right. So, we're on the second voyage of Sinbad the Sailor. All right. So, remember yesterday, Sinbad was this man who had inherited wealth from his family, right? His parents had died and they left him all the wealth, and then he was young and he went off and he spoiled a lot of it, and he was like, "Well, what am I going to do to earn this money back?" Because he had lost everything. And then so he went and he put all his cargo onto a ship, and then they thought they saw an island, a thin island so close to the water. They've never seen such a thing before. They get off their boat and they get on this island. And then what happens? They get up kindling, right? Because the whale has barnacles and trees and all kinds of things on its back. And they gather up some driftwood. They start a fire. And all of a sudden this whale feels that his back has something on it that's hot. Doesn't know if it's the sun, doesn't know what it is, right? So what does he do? He goes down to the depths of the water so that this way he'll save his back. Because he's like, "Oh my gosh, something happened." He probably thought someone bit him, or, there was something after him or on him. Like, imagine, the fire's so hot, right? Fire's so hot. That's why we don't touch it. And then all of a sudden Sinbad got swept away with this whale, right? But he landed on an island where he met these men who had a master, and he went to go and see this master, and then he became a part of their culture, right? And then he went down because he's likes to go voyaging, and he's a merchant, so he wanted to see what the other merchants were doing. And all of a sudden he sees this boat come in, and he sees his name, Sinbad, Sinbad, Sinbad. He's like, "I wonder if this stuff is mine." So he didn't even introduce himself. He didn't say who he was or what happened to him. He asked the captain of the ship, "Who is this Sinbad?" And the captain of the ship says, "Oh, he had a misfortune We went to this island that we thought was an island. It was the back of a whale, though. They started a fire, and all of a sudden this whale dove under, and I lost Sinbad and a number of my other voyagers. And he goes, no, that's me. I'm the Sinbad. This is all my stuff. And he goes, oh, you thief, right? You're trying to steal from this man. This man is dead, and now you're trying to steal from him. But then he sees all of his other people that he knows on the ship, and they all know him, right? And so they're like, Sinbad, you made it. And then the captain's like, wait a second. This is Sinbad? I recognize you too. I don't want to be left out. I recognize you too. Here, have back all your stuff. And what did Sinbad try to do? He tried to give him a gift, right? Thank you for carrying my stuff with me to shore. Thank you for trying to give it to my family. And he's like, oh, no, I'm not taking the gift. But who took the gift? The king, right? He went back to the king. He was like, thank you for saving me. Here is a gift. And the king took the gift. All right, so now we're all caught up from yesterday. And so now what did they do? They had a dinner, right? Sinbad had a whole bunch of stuff he was supposed to be transporting. And Sinbad gave him 100 gold pieces plus delivered his stuff with his own servants, right? Now he went back home. Sinbad went home. And now Sinbad's on his way back to sit with Sinbad at another dinner to hear about another voyage. Because what did Sinbad do? He was ungrateful for himself and his lot in life, right? He threw a tantrum. God, why do I have these troubles and tribulations in my life? And why does Sinbad get everything? Right? He stomped his foot. And what happened, though? That's how he got to tell his story and be like, no, you don't understand. I had trials and tribulations, too. My life wasn't always good and grand. I didn't always have a palace. I didn't always have everything. Yes, my parents left me some money, but I squandered it. And then I almost died, right? So everyone that you see and that you meet, they might have a castle in the sky, baby. But everyone went through something to get there. You're not just handed everything in life. No one is. No one is. Life isn't fair. It's not going to be fair. And if one person is handed everything in life, maybe their hearts, their bodies, their minds, and their souls aren't appreciating it. Maybe they don't know contentment. Maybe their hearts haven't been broken enough to have compassion and sympathy and empathy towards other people. Because in order to really be in someone else's place and situation, you really have to go through a lot in life to be like, wow, I love everybody. I love everybody no matter what they do to you. You'll love them back. No matter what someone does to you, you always love them back. Because if you go through enough, like Mama, I watched my papa be very, very, very sick when I was little. And that was still to this day the worst experience of my life. Because my papa's not alive anymore. Karina, baby, you are alive. And Mama will get back to you. Mama prays for you every single day. And I miss you. I miss you so much. I miss you more than I even miss my own papa, I think. Because you're mine. And you're here and I can't hold you. And I can't hug you. And I can't talk to you right now. But I will. I will. We'll get there. I'm going to read you books every single day. Honestly, I think that's the worst experience of my life, is being separated from you. But they're very, very, like, the comparison, the feelings are compatible. They are. Alright, baby. But, like, you know, Mama's been through a lot in life. Everyone's been through a lot in life. And now we're going to hear about Sinbad's second voyage that he's going to tell to Sinbad. Alright. So, second voyage. I had resolved, as you know, on my return from my first voyage, to spend the rest of my days quietly in Baghdad. But very soon I grew tired of such an idle life and longing once more to find myself upon the sea. I procured, therefore, goods that were suitable for the places I intended to visit and embarked for my second voyage in a good ship with other merchants whom I knew to be honorable men. We went from island to island, making excellent bargains until one day we landed at a spot which appeared to possess neither houses nor people. Well, my companions wandered here and there, gathering flowers and fruit. I sat down in a shady place, and having heartily enjoyed the provisions and the wine I had brought with me, I soon fell asleep, lulled by a murmur of the brook which floated by. How long I slept I knew not, but when I opened my eyes I perceived with horror that I was alone and the ship was gone. I rushed to and fro like one distracted, uttering cries of despair. And when I saw the vessel under full sail just disappearing upon the horizon, I wished bitterly enough that I had been content to stay at home in safety. Since wishing could do me no good, I presently took courage and looked about me for a means of escape. Look at this man, he's a survivor. I climbed a tall tree and first of all distracted my anxiety glances towards the sea. But finding nothing hopeful there, I turned landward, and my curiosity was excited by a huge, dazzling white object, so far away that I could not make out what it might be. Descending from the tree, I hastily collected what remained of my possessions and set off as fast as I could. As I drew near, it seemed to me to be a white ball of enormous size and height, and when I could touch it, I found it marvelously smooth and soft. Since it was impossible to climb, for it presented no foothold, I walked around it, seeing some opening, but there was none. I continued, however, that it was at least 50 paces around. By this time the sun was near setting, being quite suddenly something like a huge black cloud came swiftly over me, and I saw with amazement that it was a bird of extraordinary size, which was hovering near. Then I remembered I had often heard the sailors speak of a wonderful bird called a roc, R-O-C, roc, and it occurred to me that the white object which had so puzzled me must be its egg. Sure enough, the bird settled softly down upon it, and covering it with its wings to keep it warm, and I cowered close beside the egg in such a position that one of the bird's feet, which was as large as a trunk of a tree, was just in front of me. Taking off my turban, I bound myself secretly to the foot with a linen, in the hope that the roc would, when it took flight next morning, would bear me away with it from this island. And this was precisely what did happen. As soon as the dawn appeared, the bird soared into the air, carrying me up and up till I could no longer see the earth, and then suddenly descending as so swiftly that I almost lost consciousness. When I became aware that the rook had settled and I was once again upon solid ground, I hastily unbound my turban from its foot, and not a moment too soon, for the bird, pouncing upon a huge snake, grasped it with its powerful beak, rose into the air, and soon had disappeared from my view. After I had looked about me, I began to doubt if I had gained anything at all by quitting the desolate island. The valley in which I found myself was deep and narrow, and surrounded by mountains, which towered into the clouds, and were so steep and rocky, where there was no way of climbing up the sides. As I wandered about, seeking for some means of escaping from this trip, I observed that the ground was strewn with diamonds, many of them of astonishing size. This sight gave me great pleasure, but my delight was speedily dampened when I also saw numbers of horrible snakes, so long and so large that the smallest of them could have swallowed an elephant with ease. Fortunately for me, they seemed to hide in caverns in the rocks by day and only come out by night, probably because of the enemy, the rook. All day long I wandered up and down the valley, and when it grew dusk, I crept into a small cave. Having blocked up the entrance to it with a stone, I ate part of the little store of food and lay down to sleep. But all through the night the serpents crawled in to and fro, hissing horribly, so that I could scantly close my eyes of terror. I was thankful when the morning light appeared, and when I judged by the silence that the serpents had retreated to their dens, I came trembling out of my cave and wandered up and down the valley once more, kicking the diamonds contemptuously out of my path, for I felt that they were indeed vain things to a man in my situation. At last, overcome with weariness, I sat down upon a rock. But I had hardly closed my eyes when I was startled by something which fell to the ground with a thud close beside me. It was a huge piece of fresh meat, and as I stared at it, several more pieces followed over the cliffs in different places. I had always thought that the stories the sailors told of the famous Valley of Diamonds and of the cunning way which some merchants have devised for getting at the precious stones were mere travelers' tales, invented to give pleasure to the hearers. But now I perceive that they were surely true. These merchants came to the valley at this time when the eagles, which kept their eyries in the rocks and hatched their young. The merchants then threw great lumps of meat into the valley. These falling with so much force upon the diamonds were sure to take up some of the precious stones with them, which the eagles pounced upon the meat and carried it off to their nests to feed their hungry broods. Then the merchants, scaring away the parent birds with shouts and outcries, would secure their treasures, until the moment I had looked up the valley and as my grave, for I had seen no possibility of getting out of it alive. But now I took courage and began by picking up the largest diamonds I could find and storing them carefully in the leather pouch which had held my provisions. This I tied securely to my belt. I then chose the piece of meat which seemed most suited to my purpose, and with the aid of my turban bound it firmly to my back. This done, I laid down upon my face and awaited the coming of the eagles. I soon heard the flapping of their mighty wings above me, and had the satisfaction of feeling one of them seize up the meat with me with it, and rose so slowly toward the nest into which he precisely dropped me. Luckily for me, the merchants were on the watch, and setting up their usual outcries, had rushed to the nest, scaring away the eagle. Their amazement was great when they discovered me, also their disappointment, and with one accord they fell to abusing me for having robbed them of their usual profit. Addressing myself to the one who seemed most aggravated, I said, I am sure if you know all I have suffered, you would show me kindness towards me. And as for the diamonds, I have enough here in my vest, best for you and me and your entire company. So saying, I showed them to him. The others all crowded around me, wondering at my adventure and admiring the device by which I had escaped from the valley. When they had led me to their camp and examined my diamonds, they assured me that in the many years they had carried on this trade, they had seen no stones to be compared with them for the size and the beauty. I found that each merchant chose a particular nest, so I begged the one who owned the nest to which I had been carried to take as much as he would if of my treasure. But he contained himself with one stone, and that by no means the largest, assuring me that with such a gem his fortune would be made, and he need toil no more. I stayed with the merchants several days, and then, as they were journeying homeward, I gladly accompanied them. Our path lay across high mountains and came at last to the seashore. We sailed in the island of Roa, where the camphor trees grew, such size as that 100 men could shelter under one of them with ease. The sap flows from the incision made high up in the tree into the vessel hung there to receive it, and soon hardens into the substance called camphor. For the camphor tree itself withers up and dies when it has been so treated. In this same island we saw the rhinoceros, an animal smaller than an elephant and larger than a buffalo. It has a horn, a foot and a half long, which is solid, but has fewer from the base to the top. Upon it is traced in white lines the figures of a man. The rhinoceros fights with the elephant and transfixes him with his horn, carries him off upon his head, but becoming blinded with the blood of his enemy, he falls to the ground. Then comes the rook, and he clutches them both in his talons, taking them to feed his young. This doubtless astonishes you, but if you did not believe my tale, go to Roa and see for yourself, for fearing of your wearying you. I pass over in silence many other wonderful things which we saw on this island. Before we left, I exchanged one of my diamonds for much goodly merchandise, by which I profited greatly on our homeward way. At last we received Belashora, whence I hastened to Baghdad, where my first action was to bestow large sums of money upon the poor. After which I settled down to enjoy tranquillities and the riches I had gained with so much toil and pain. Having thus related this adventure of my second voyage, Sinbad again bestowed 100 pieces of gold upon Hindbad, inviting him and all the other guests to return on the following day to hear how he fared upon his third voyage. And other guests also departed from their homes and returned at the same hour the next day, including the porter whose former life of hard work and poverty already seemed to him like a bad dream. Once more, when the feast was over, Sinbad claimed the attention of his guests and began to account his third voyage. Alright, baby cakes. Tomorrow, actually later on today, because I'm on 27 right now. It is the 27th. I want to get the 28th done so this way I could do it overnight. Right now I'm the only one home, so I'm going to be using the internet and putting this up today because today is the 27th. This is the 27th. I'm going to put it up during the day. Alright. I love you. I'm going to go take a shower and I'll be right back. Okay? Let's do a song. Let's do We Sit and Watch the Rain as it falls from the sky, and we are glad to be inside where it is warm and dry. Oh yes, I do love the rain. It keeps the earth so clean and helps the pretty flowers grow. from the mountains to the streams. A tisket, a tasket, a green and yellow basket. I sent a letter to my love, but on my way I lost it. I lost it, I lost it. A little boy picked it up and put it in his pocket. A tisket, a tasket, a green and yellow basket. And since we're doing a seafaring voyage as our book with Sinbad, let's do Bully down in Shinbo now, so help me Bob, and bully in the alleyway, hey, bully in the alley, so help me Bob, and bully in the alley, bully down in Shinbo now. Sally is a girl down in our alleyway, hey, bully in the alley. Sally is a girl that I love dearly, bully down in Shinbo now. Sally is a girl that I slice nearly, way, hey, bully in the alley. All she did was diddly and dally, bully down in Shinbo now. So help me Bob, and bully in the alley, way, hey, bully in the alley, so help me Bob, and bully in the alley, bully down in Shinbo now. I left my girl to go a sailing, way, hey, bully in the alley, left my girl to go a whaling, bully down a Shinbo now. If I ever get back, I'll marry little Sally, way, hey, bully in the alley, have 6 kids and live in Shinbo Alley, bully down a Shinbo now. So help me Bob, and bully in the alley, way, hey, bully in the alley, so help me Bob, and bully in the alley, bully down a Shinbo now. Papa and Mama both love the sea shanties. Papa started playing a video game that was Assassin's Creed, and it had all these sea shanties in it. You know, leave her, Johnny, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the wind doth blow and the sails are set, so it's time for us to leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her, Johnny, leave her. But there's so many good sea shanties, baby. Papa and I both love them. They are tasking to our souls when we listen to them, because it just brings you back to a time where there was community and everyone sang together and everyone did things together, and people should love on each other. It's just what it is. We are social creatures. We're all very social. We all want to be loved and just cared for, and just accepted. Seen, loved, and accepted will save people's lives. If they're seen, if they're loved, if they're accepted, it will save their lives. If you don't hurt yourself, try not to hurt anyone else, and have everyone, try not to let anyone else hurt you. Life is so much better, because life is fast. Let's do little pebble upon the sand. Now you're sitting here in my hand. Me to you is a passing phase. Little human upon the land. Now I'm sitting here in your hand. You to me is just a passerby. Happiness runs in a circular motion. Life is like a little boat upon the sea. Everybody is a part of everything anyway. You can have everything if you let yourself be. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Why, oh, because. Why, oh, because. Happiness runs in a circular motion. Life is like a little boat upon the sea. Everybody is a part of everything anyway. You can have everything if you let yourself be. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Happiness runs, happiness runs. How about row, row, row your boat gently down the stream? Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Let's do oh, say, oh, playmates, come out and play with me, and bring your dollies 3. Climb up my apple tree, shout down my rain barrel, slide down my cellar door, and we'll be jolly friends forevermore, more, more. It was a sunny day, she could not go out to play. She said with tearful eyes, my dolly's got the flu. Boo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. I ain't got no rain barrel, I ain't got no cellar door, but we'll be jolly friends forevermore, more, more. Alright, Karina baby, what is it right now? It is morning. Let's do Boker Tov. Boker Tov, good morning. We sing Boker Tov, we thank you for this life. We sing Boker Tov each morning. This way we know it will be alright. Nothing is perfect, nothing will ever be perfect, but we are always thankful for the life that we have. Our hearts, our minds, our bodies, our souls are ours, and we treat everything with kindness, including ourselves, and compassion, including ourselves, right? It's our heart that makes us beautiful, and the love that we have for ourselves and others that makes us just excellent creatures to be with, right? What are we going to do now? We're going to do Lila Tov, right? Lila Tov, and good night to you. Lila Tov, may your dreams come true. We sing Lila Tov, may Israel protect you throughout the night until we reach the morning light. Karina, I love you and I miss you and I can't wait to see you. Like Papa always used to say, Mama's Papa's son, Papa's my moon, and you are our rainbow baby. You are our rainbow baby. You're quite literally my rainbow baby and I love you. No matter what, no matter what, no matter what, it's unconditional love. I will always, always, always love you. Okay? Your mama will always love you. I will always love you, my sweetheart. Alright, I'm going to go take a shower. I'm going to get dressed and I'm going to sit down. I'm going to read you another storybook. I love you.